All rise. The United States District Court for the District of Minnesota is now in session. The Honorable Stephen E. Rao presiding.
Good morning and thank you. Please be seated. It's a real pleasure to be here today. Good morning to new soon-to-be citizens and loved ones, St. Thomas Academy cadets, faculty, and administrators. My name is Judge Stephen E. Rao. I sit in the United States District Court for the District of Minnesota. I used to be able to say that I was one of the newer judges in the district, but that isn't the case anymore. It's my honor and privilege to be here today to join you in the culmination of your journey to United States citizenship. There are 16 new citizens here today from 13 countries. In a moment, the adjudication officer from the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services will read the names of each country represented here today, and I encourage you to stand, if you're able, and to clap and to express your pride in your soon-to-be former country by cheering or clapping when your country is named. And although this is a court that's been converted to a court, ordinarily, photographs aren't allowed here, but we make an exception, or at least photographs aren't allowed in a United States District Court. We make an exception today, and I will allow your loved ones to be photographed as they become citizens. In fact, after the ceremony, if you choose, you can come up and have your picture taken at the flag with me if you like. Now, we've already done the national anthem, and I believe that there is a motion pending before the court. Proceed.
Your Honor, if it pleases the court, the government recommends the oath of allegiance be administered to 16 applicants for naturalization who have been interviewed and whose applications have been approved. They are permanent residents of the United States and have resided within the St. Paul, Minnesota district for the required 3-month period. They are persons of good moral character who are attached to the principles of the Constitution and the form of government of the United States. The government recommends that the court administer the oath of allegiance as required by law so that the applicants may be admitted to citizenship and that the name changes requested and the petitions be granted.
And that motion will be granted. Would you like to read the names of the different countries, please, sir?
Do you want them to stand on that?
Yes, please stand when the name of your country is read.
Okay. Stand and remain standing. Armenia. Stay standing. Belize. Burma. India. Kampuchea. Mexico. Philippines. Taiwan. Tanzania. Uganda. Venezuela, Somalia, Cameroon,
Are you ready to take the oath? Please raise your right hand. On the screen, the words to the oath will appear. Follow after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we can read together here now. And that I give up an allegiance to any king, queen, or prince, or to any state or country which I have held up until this day. I swear that as a citizen of the United States, I will, when lawfully directed, bear arms or perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States, or I will, when directed, perform non-military service on behalf of the United States. I take these obligations freely, without any purpose of evasion, and declare today that I am a true citizen of the United States of America, so help me God. Congratulations, and please be seated.
Good morning. My name is Jamie Jerkovich. I'm the director of the St. Thomas Academy Middle School and a teacher of history and geography. I'd like to thank all the students, faculty, and staff for being here this morning, serving as witnesses to this wonderful ceremony. Welcome and thank you to Judge Rao for presiding over today's proceedings, and to the various representatives of the Immigration Services Office. And of course, on behalf of the St. Thomas Academy community, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to our new citizens and their family and friends that are here to support them. We have 16 new citizens with us today, hailing from 13 different homelands. We are honored to host what I believe is the first ever naturalization ceremony at St. Thomas Academy. My 7th grade geography students research their family histories and write about the various factors that pushed their families out of their homelands and that pulled them into the United States. For some of our students, this history is hundreds of years old. For others, it is very recent history. And for some, it is even within their own lifetimes. My own grandparents left Croatia, Russia, and Germany and passed through Ellis Island about 100 years ago. And they went through a similar citizenship swearing-in ceremony that we just observed. We are privileged here at St. Thomas to be a small part of your experience today. The great American story of immigration. A story in which we all have our own chapters. We are connected by these shared histories, and after today, our futures are linked together as well. At our school, we pride ourselves on developing leaders and developing responsible, active citizens. It's in that spirit that we are grateful to our guests this morning for reminding us of what we too often take for granted. The tremendous opportunities we hold as citizens of these United States of America, and the serious responsibilities that come with this privilege. On behalf of the community of St. Thomas Academy, congratulations on becoming an American citizen. After the ceremony, to celebrate, we'd like to invite our guests to a little reception in the cafeteria, which you'll find out through those doors. Thank you very much for being here.
Again, welcome, and a special greeting to St. Thomas Academy's Mr. Tangwe. Mr. Tangwe, you came here from Cameroon to escape political unrest. So today is a special day for you, and it's a privilege for me to share it with you and with your new fellow citizens. For the cadets out here, you should know each candidate in front of you passed the test and was interviewed. The U.S. citizenship test includes 100 civics questions. Applicants are then asked some random questions out of that list of 100. They don't know which ones. And they must achieve a passing grade. In addition, applicants are asked to demonstrate facility in reading, writing, and speaking English, and each candidate is subjected to an extensive interview by an officer of the United States Immigration and Naturalization Service. Citizenship provides significant advantages to immigrants that having legal residence status does not confer, including not having to ask for the green card every however many years you did, Mr. Tangwe. Citizens, for example, can collect federal benefits, they can vote, they can become a federal employee, and they can run for office. I was reminded of this most recently yesterday. I've been in New York City for a graduation and was taking a cab out to LaGuardia Airport. Our cab driver was from Pakistan. His family had immigrated to Pakistan from India. He had just become a United States citizen. And we were talking about it because I'd been to parts of his country a long time ago, and he told me that it was his dream to become a police officer. But that in Pakistan, because his family immigrated from India, he never stood a chance of becoming a police officer. And he proudly told me that this July he was going to start police academy and that he was going to become a licensed police officer. So that's just one of millions of stories that are written every day in this country. These ceremonies are very significant for me. The first one that I did, June of 2011, I performed a naturalization ceremony for, I believe, it was 700 new citizens. It was out at Bethel College. I had never spoken in front of a group that big ever in my life because there were 700 citizens, and then for each new citizen there were at least 4 or 5 family members or friends or what have you. It was a huge crowd. I drove up to the college. I didn't have quite the wonderful greeting I had here with the honor guard and all of that, but one of the court security officers came out to me and he said, "Judge," he said, "one of the candidates for citizenship is in labor. We've put her in the temporary robing room, and we're wondering if you would be willing to administer the oath of office to her, or the oath of citizenship to her early so she and her husband could go to the hospital." Naturally, I said yes, and administered the oath to her in between contractions. Off she went to the hospital to make a new citizen. My third naturalization ceremony I did was an emergency naturalization. This man was from Ethiopia, and he was dying. It was his dying wish to die a citizen. Those stories are very significant to me, just as today's story is. And they all show you that getting to do this that I'm doing right here today is one of the best benefits I have of being a federal judge. Because, you know, a lot of times I have to do things that people really don't like put them in jail or rule against them. So it's really wonderful to be able to do something that puts a smile on people's faces. I want to talk to you about 3 basic things about citizenship for everyone. What we aspire to be as a country, equal. What your responsibility is as a citizen in a democracy. And what your responsibility is to your fellow citizens. Every day you enjoy the benefits and sacrifices that were made by the earliest generations of immigrants to America. It's now your turn to enrich this country with your differences, because after all, the strength of this country is its diversity. We are diverse, but we're equal. Equal justice under law. That is one of the most important ideals in our country. It's one enshrined in the Constitution. It is what we aspire to be as a country, where all citizens are considered equal under law. Many people, as I said, come here to escape persecution because of their beliefs, religious or political, or because they believe that they will benefit from coming here economically. But as any student of United States history knows, as a country we have not always been successful in the aspiration of equality under the law. One of the best examples of that is the battle for equality that African American descendants of slaves waged over the centuries. In a famous case called Plessy v. Ferguson, where the United States Supreme Court ruled that you could have separate, because this was still part of Jim Crow, facilities but equal, and they weren't, for African Americans. They said you could have separate schools, separate rail cars, separate bathrooms, separate everything. That case, which was decided in the late 19th century and was later overturned in part, starting with Brown v. Board of Education, contained a famous dissent by Justice John Marshall Harlan, who wrote, "In view of the Constitution, in the eye of the law, there is in this country no superior dominant class of citizens. There is no caste here. Our Constitution is colorblind and neither knows nor tolerates classes among citizens. In respect of civil rights, all citizens are equal before the law. The humblest is the peer of the most powerful. I charge you, new citizens, and all you citizens who take your citizenship for granted, to remember this aspiration and goal as a citizen. Remember it every day. You're no different. It's a function of humanity. The freedom of being an American citizen also brings responsibility. One of the primary responsibilities of democracy is your ability to participate in the democratic process and vote. Democracy only functions effectively when its members, you, express yourself at the ballot box by helping to choose who will govern us. Adlai Stevenson once described citizenship and its responsibilities as follows. As citizens of this democracy, you are the rulers and the ruled, you are the lawgivers and the law-abiding, the beginning and the end. Now that you are citizens, assume the responsibilities and do not only consume the benefits. Democracy also, as I told you, carries a responsibility to your fellow citizens and your community. You have to be tolerant of one another. You have to work and to contribute to your community, be kind to your neighbors and the people around you, regardless of their religious beliefs, their faith, or their ethnic origins. President Kennedy once said, if we cannot end now our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. As I told you at the beginning, the diversity and strength of our country, or the strength of our country is based on its diversity. As new citizens, you can set an example of compassion and tolerance for everyone to follow. John Wesley said, "Do all the good you can do, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all of the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you can." Make these words your mantra, your credo. You will then be contributing to continuing the American dream for yourselves and your children. Thank you. And now I believe another one of your fellow citizens would like to say a few words to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
It's an honor and a privilege to call you a fellow citizen of the United States of America. This is now officially your country, your home to protect, to defend, and to serve through active and engaged citizenship. Together, we are a nation united not by any one culture or ethnicity or ideology, but by the principles of opportunity, equality, and liberty that are enshrined in our founding documents. Today marks a very special day in your life. You've traveled a long path to get here. You've sworn a solemn oath to this country and now have all the rights of citizenship. With the privilege of citizenship, though, come great responsibilities. And so I ask that you use your freedoms and your talents to contribute to the good of our nation and the world. Always remember that in America, no dream is impossible. Like the millions of immigrants who have come before you, you have the opportunity to enrich this country through your contributions to civic society, business, culture, and your community. You can help write the next great chapter in our American story. And together, we can keep the beacon that is America burning bright for all the world to see. I am proud to welcome you as a new citizen of this country. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
as we wrap this up, I first want to thank the St. Thomas Academy community for inviting me to do this. It was a real privilege. I also want to recognize those people from United States Citizenship and Immigration, United States District Court. Arthur Brady is a graduate of St. Thomas Academy and called the court to order. And Deb Bell back here, and I'm sure many other people. I get to do the fun stuff, give a speech, and as my son would say, pontificate. But these people make this happen, make it a special ceremony for you new citizens, and I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the Academy's warm welcome to me. We are now in recess. May Isabel Ramos. Come on up. I guess we're not in recess. Ahmed Mohammed Abdi. Mildred Del Carmen Philip. Jose Antonio Gordillo Morales. Abdullah Abdi Muhammad. Avani Anad Shah. Rose Chen Jensen. Stoipa Alexandrovich Kacharin. I know I'm going to blow that one. Muzar. Sven Lim. Immaculate Wuwa. Yasin Yusuf Abduli. This one's going to be a challenge. Hassan Ali Al-Nur Hassan Ali Wali. Richard Labogoya Bayakovi. Yael Renee Castillo. Is there anyone else? Julius Tangwe. I think we're in recess now. Thank you very much.